right, welcome to the Goodman and Hummel podcast. Jeff is making me do this because I cannot be on the pod this week, too many games. So I will recap what I just saw in the St. John's UConn game where Connecticut won by, it felt like a million. I don't know what the actual score was, but it was domination from the start. Connecticut came out, set the tone early, and I think they showed that when Terrace Reed plays well, but they are a real contender for the Final Four and the national championship. It was from the jump. It was so many guys that contributed. And, for St. John's, some major questions. Some major questions for the Johnnies, who had been as hot as anybody. They'd won 13 straight and now are reeling from a 35-point loss where they literally missed their last 24 field goals and didn't make a shot for the last 16 minutes of the game. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I don't think I've ever seen a D1 team go that cold in a game, especially in that magnitude. But give UConn a lot of credit. They were hooked up from the jump, and all the things that went against Connecticut in the game a couple of weeks ago against St. John's really went their way tonight. They hung in there on the glass. Definitely St. John's in the second half got some second chance opportunities, but didn't cash them in. But they kept them out of the paint. The three-point line is still a bit erratic for St. John's, and they catch them out of transition. And, when you think about how St. John's can really get you, it's those two things. Plus, UConn did an elite job at taking care of the ball. That's been a problem for this team, but not on this night. I think they were in single-digit turnovers on the night, and St. John's turned you over as much as anybody in this conference. So, a really impressive win, a statement win for Dan Hurley's team. And, certainly their defensive mojo came back against Villanova, and it carried on tonight because that was a clinic. And I could not be more impressed with Connecticut. But we'll see what St. John's has because their schedule's no joke here. They got Villanova at the Garden Saturday, and they also go on the road to Seton Hall, who's a team that certainly needs some quad one wins. So a lot to still look forward to, but I think the highlight of the game was ripping on Field of 68 and pretty much Jeff Goodman's bracketology, and not the Field of 68's bracketology, but ripping on Jeff. And I'm just glad that to a national audience, Fanta and I could crush him. So that was my favorite part. But guys, take the rust away. I miss you all this week, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.
All right, thanks, Rob. That was really kind of you. Taking
Got the suit on too. He's looking suited and booted, as MJ likes to say.
I know. How about the shot? I mean, that hurt. The shot he took at me on national TV on Peacock. The guy takes a little, like a jab. I mean, it was more than a jab, actually. It was more than a jab, but I think he was upset. I think he was upset that the bobblehead. So honestly, I'm not kidding. I'm not lying to you on this. The bobblehead fell off my desk while I was doing a podcast with Rob Dauster yesterday, late morning. And I picked the thing up, and this is what it looked like.
You are spending entirely too much time on this bobblehead. Don't you have anything better?
One arm gone.
You got a custom neck brace. Okay, looks like the brace my dad wore as a middle linebacker in the 60s at Florida. Like, what are we doing?
And then half of an arm and the other arm gone. So,
you know why I think he brought you up on the broadcast? You want to know why?
Why?
What else were they going to talk about? It wasn't a game.
Good point.
When you're, and you know this, you've done games. Like when you're in a game that's just a blowout, you run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You're going to find stuff to talk about.
You're trying to fill time at that point. You're just trying to fill time. And it's not easy, but we didn't. Okay, I saw you and Cornette before the game, and you both said Collinsworth asked you both who your pick was, and both of you agreed that it was UConn. I thought UConn would win too. I just didn't think it would be an absolute mollywhopping, which is my favorite term for a game of that ilk. It was from start to finish for the most part, all UConn. The crowd, I just think, again, this was one that Dan Hurley, first of all, Hurley and Pitino do not get along at all. And this was the Terrace Reed week. This was really the Terrace Reed week. This is what we've been waiting for, is for this UConn team to be a team that we think can win 6 straight, Tarris Reed has to be a dude every single night on both ends of the court.
They were the more connected team from when the ball was thrown up in the air. I mean, that is so evident, and it's evident on a couple fronts. One, Coach Hurley showed Tarris Reed every single clip of Zuby Ejiofor dominating the first matchup.
Oh, yeah.
Dominating.
Yep.
And say, this is what you want? You want this guy to do this again on your home floor? He had him so fired up to play.
Yeah.
And the other piece of it, too, first of all, I love kudos to the coaches for allowing the cameras to come in the timeouts.
That was cool.
And you're listening to what they're saying, and he was so complimentary of his team flying around defensively.
Yep.
And then you go in the other huddle, and Coach Pitino was like, guys, like, stop.
Right.
Like, stop playing one-on-one. We're not winning that battle. Yeah. And then what happened was, Jeff, is for St. John's, the inability to score, execute offense, completely bled to the other end. And that's an avalanche. And you can't catch up to it. You cannot. Once you get into something like that, you cannot catch up to it. But for St. John's to reach its potential, like, how many times was Bryce Hopkins, and Coach Pitino said it. He's like, Bryce is going one-on-one, and you're going in there, and you're not finishing, and you're not scoring. Like, move it, get off it, play through Zuby on the perimeter. They never did that. They got away from what won them the game the first game. And it was credit UConn's defense, because Coach Hurley said in those times, we're flying around, man. We are flying around.
Yeah, I would say this. Like, again, this didn't surprise me other than the fact that the margin for it surprised me a little bit. But I've felt like UConn's clearly the better team all year long. From the first time I saw them in person and they lost to Arizona at home without Reed, without Mullins, I just felt like this team was going to come together. It's taken them a little bit longer. And it surprises me to some degree. But again, in this day and age, there's just a lot more to have to deal with, right? And Hurley's got to push the right buttons with each guy and learn. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to figure out, like Silas Demery, or what he's only had him, he probably got him in June, right? Like, so he's still trying to figure out Silas Demery, who, again, like, really, really talented kid, just up and down this year, really up and down. And, he's got to cut down on obviously his turnovers, but they've got enough. I mean, listen, they got a lottery pick on the wing, who may not be as far as some of their other pros, but he's still capable. You got a big who may not be as good as some of their past bigs, but he's showed last night he was fully capable. You got Alex Caravan, who is what we thought he was, right? You got Solo Ball, who's not shooting it quite like we thought, but is capable, more than capable. And then you got a point guard that, he's not Tristan Newton yet, but again, probably more talented, probably more actually talented than Tristan Newton was. And the bench is good. Like, Ryba's good. Jaden Ross is good. Jalen Stewart. Like, they got enough on the
Malachi. He didn't even play.
Right.
But Jeff, that is what you're going down the line.
Yep.
Solo Ball hasn't shot it great. Like that's what makes this team so dangerous.
Yes.
Like, that's what makes them so dangerous.
Are they going to click? Are they? That was a one-game click.
That was
a one-game click.
That was a complete game. And we kept waiting. So now it's like, okay, that's what makes them dangerous. Jalen Stewart doesn't play. You know who gave them great minutes last night?
Go ahead.
Guy Smith.
Yes.
Great minutes. And here's a guy that transfers from Dayton. He's the man at Dayton. I mean, my last year coaching was his freshman year, and you're thinking this guy is going to be better than his brother.
Yeah.
He's going to be better than Scucci, who had an unbelievable career at Dayton. And then the injuries started stacking up, and then he transfers to UConn. There's games he's played 5 minutes.
Yes.
But then in this game last night, there was a clip in the first half. I wish they would have finished it on the break, because I would have had, our guys clip it and showed it at the half. where there's a loose ball, man, and he goes out there and dives on it and gets it. It was like tone setter. Like St. John's was never coming back from that. Like here's a guy that's barely played, and he's getting his opportunity because somebody else is out, and he dives on the floor at half court for that loose ball. I mean, it's unbelievable. That's why, Jeff, they haven't. Uh, if they start clicking like they clicked last night, and that was, we know it's a one-off. Like they're not going to roll through. If these two teams meet in the Big East tournament, it's not going to be a 30-piece.
No,
right?
no.
It's not, but can solo ball find his rhythm? Can they get Jalen Stewart back in there in the mix? Can Reed play with that level of intensity every single? Can they do it for 6 games? Can they do it
I
for
think
6
it's
games?
Terrace. I think so much of it is on Terrace Reed because I think he opens it up for everybody else, and defensively, what he did defensively last night, I thought that was the game changer. That was the game changer for me.
I mean, how many times did Bryce Hopkins drive in there and try to throw some BS up at the rim?
Yes.
Like a post-game show, we were talking about it, and Jordan Cornette said, we got to throw the tape out. I'm like, bullshit.
Right.
I'm showing every single one of those offensive possessions because
And Rick will.
you
Rick
did-
will for sure.
You did not utilize each other. You were not the most connected team. UConn was. And for St. John's to reach their potential, and I believe Coach Pitino said it in his press conference where Matt Norlander was like sticking his face.
What
right
press conference? It was a minute 50. It was as short as my Braden Smith interview.
But he said it. The ball didn't move. We didn't utilize each other.
I mean,
with the lack of point guard situation that they've had, and the ball has to move and change sides of the floor for them to be successful. And it did not.
Here's what I'll say on that with the Pitino thing is like, I've been around Rick Pitino a lot after wins, losses, whatever. He's generally pretty good. I mean, he was pissed off, and you can have a one-off there. You can have a one-off. He went out. He said what he had to say, and he got the hell out of there. I'm fine with. I understand Matt Norlander, on his pulpit of the president of the USBWA wants some rules. I've been doing this a long time. I get it, man. But sometimes, coaches are pissed off, and
sometimes less is more. Because when you go in there and
especially Rick, he will say plenty of things, and he probably knew that. And he probably said to himself, you know what, before I get myself in trouble, before I throw my guys under the bus for not playing hard, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'm going to do it behind closed doors.
You lose your team.
Yeah, and it's not worth it at this point.
At this point,
it's hard enough. It's hard enough to get a team these days, right? It's hard enough. It takes time to get a team behind you. And again, this team. So, all right, first let's put a cap on UConn here. Are they now, in your opinion, in that top tier group? Because to me, I don't know if you would disagree, but I think there's 3 teams that people are putting in the top tier right now, whatever order you want to put them in. Michigan, Duke, and Arizona, right? Michigan, Duke, Arizona are clearly the top 3. Are we at a point where you are comfortable putting UConn in that tier?
Yes.
Okay. Me
Yes.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
I've kind of had them there all year, but they've been on the fringe lately. And I told Hurley this. I told Hurley this the other night. I picked you guys to win the whole thing. I don't have as much confidence. Well, after watching them last night, yeah, because you know what the other thing is, they've got a coach who's been there before, who's done it, and that stuff is passed down. Caravan's been there before, done it. That stuff matters when you get into the NCAA tournament, right? I don't know. It's hard to explain because a lot of the players haven't. Obviously, it's a different team than those championship teams. You don't have a lot left over, certainly guys that played real minutes. But I do think Hurley, his staff even, and
that's another great point. Man, from the jump last night, I thought Luke Murray was going to close out on St. John's players. I mean, those guys
locked in.
Thank goodness Peacock, and I think it was Borzello that was producing the game.
The better Borzella.
But yeah, the better, but no question. He was producing the game because Kamani Young comes in that timeout and in that huddle. And man, was he fired up. And there was some
Kamani
cursing.
needs to get a job, by the way. Kamani needs to get a job.
The job that he wants.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if he ever called me for advice, continue to be patient and wait on the right one because it's coming.
Yeah. Both those guys. I mean, both Luke Murray and Kamani, obviously what they've done with Hurley being alongside him. And I think Dan Hurley would be the first to admit it's not easy working for him. It's not easy working for him. So
those guys were closing out
like
on
Calhoun. You know, I'm happy for Tom Moore now that Tom Moore doesn't have to get crushed anymore quite as much on the bench by Hurley. I mean, imagine having Calhoun, although George Blaney was really the one who got killed by Calhoun for years, but also the book Tom Moore could write, working for Jim Calhoun and Dan Hurley. Like, I got to get a deal done with him. I got to get a book deal done. The stories, behind the scenes stories, untold stories of UConn basketball by Tom Moore. It would be electric.
Entertaining.
All right. So St. John's played better lately. No doubt about it. Got that win against UConn at the Garden a few weeks ago. We started to put them back in the equation. They got back in the top 25. They're moving up. Everything's looking great with the Johnnies. And then this happens. And I think it's a little bit of a jolt to these fans that thought, hey, you know what? We're back. We're a Final Four contender again. I never bought into it. I've told you this over and over and over. And you've pushed back on me a little bit. You pushed back. And I've said, without a real point guard, you can't do it. You can't. You just can't, Matt. You can try to hide that as much as you want and run your stuff through your bigs. But ultimately, you have to have Darling's done a more than admirable job. I don't want to sell him short. He's been very, very impressive for what we expected of an Idaho State transfer. But you know what? He's not a frontline point guard that to me can take you to a Final Four. Am I wrong?
I think I had them in the Final Four preseason. Just with what they had coming back, a fully healthy Bryce Hopkins. Can they get there? Final Four, difficult because of the situation, and it got exposed last night. Can they get to the second weekend and get the right matchups? I do believe that. Here's the other thing, too. Go back and watch the Creighton game where Dylan Darling was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, Creighton's playing drop coverage and pick and rolls.
Right.
So he's not getting pressured and have to make reads, and he can come off and get to his mid-range. He can come off and snake ball screens and play comfortably. Yeah. Nothing was comfortable about last night.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
So when they run into a buzzsaw defensively where you're going to be playing against hard hedging, you can't run middle ball screens because they're out there at the logo pressuring you. It's going to be really hard for them to overcome that.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to find out a lot about this team on Saturday. We're going to find a lot about them because they're still tied for first place. There's a Big East regular season on the line, and they're playing the third best team in the league who's going to the NCAA tournament. Coach Willard, phenomenal job he's doing this season in year one.
Yep.
We're going to find out a lot about St. John's. How do they respond from this? Do they respond the right way and come out like their hair's on fire and play desperate? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, again, listen, the bottom line is what Rick Pitino has done to make St. John's nationally relevant this quickly is amazing. I just think sometimes expectations get not out of whack because they had a ton of money, right? They had a ton of money. They should be a team that's probably in the Final Four conversation. And again, they may be in it. They may be in it at the end of the day, depending on matchups. I just feel like that missing piece of a point guard will always catch up to you. Always catch up to you. I don't care what you try to do. I don't care who you have at the point forward spot. You can have Larry frickin' Bird out there. I don't think it matters. You got to have a point guard.
In the tournament. Exactly. Because
Yeah.
That second game, that Elite Eight game,
Yes.
you have 1 day to prep.
And
One day.
Matt, you know how many great point guards there are this year? Do you know how many? Like, if you don't have one, well, the last few years, it hasn't really. It doesn't always expose you, but this year, go down the list. There are a million. I mean, it's the strongest the position has been in my mind in like 20 years.
Yep.
So,
yeah. But again, that 1 day prep, you can't put in actions. You can't try to adjust what you're running. You got to rely on your principles. That's what you have to do offensively. Defensively, you're trying to get their actions down. This is how we're guarding. But offensively, it's like that second game, you got to go make plays. Like, you have to go make plays. And with the game on the line, a la Walter Clayton Jr. last year, Texas Tech, UConn, games on the line, put it in a guard's hands and let him go create. It's hard to do that through a 5-man or a power forward late in the game in an NCAA tournament setting.
As you know by now, we have teamed up with BetMGM again this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we will have special offers for Field of 68 fans, including same-game parlays, best-in-class live betting, and daily odds boost. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app, you sign up using bonus code FIELD, you deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD when you sign up. Make this college basketball season one for the history books. Make it legendary. And don't forget, if you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code FIELD and get your $1,500 first bet offer today.
Are you trying to follow everything happening in college basketball? It can be overwhelming. That's where the Field of 68 Daily comes into play. The Daily is your go-to source for recruiting news, game analysis, portal updates, and much, much more. For just $50 a year, you get access to the same information that your favorite coaching staff is subscribed to. Quality content can be hard to find in the college basketball space. The Daily is here to help. Make sure you subscribe today.
Big news, guys. Cash App just released a new status program for the way people actually spend called Cash App Green. It unlocks new ways for you to pay, get rewarded, and easily grow or manage your money on your terms. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with the Cash App card or Cash App Pay, you earn green status, which unlocks benefits like up to $200 of free overdraft coverage, higher borrow limits, and custom personalized cashback offers every Friday at places that you love to shop. Turn everyday spending into status with Cash App Green. Download Cash App today or visit cash.app/new to learn more about this and other great features launching now. For a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use Cash App 10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank member FDIC. Cash App Green, overdraft coverage, borrow, cashback offers, and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Taking care of your mental health shouldn't be harder than taking care of your physical health. Get rid of the long wait lists and expensive appointments with Rula, where the average session copay is just $15 and every therapist on the platform is licensed, vetted, and picked for their expertise. You're talking to someone legit, not just someone who is available. You just answer a survey and you get connected with a therapist that fits your needs. Go to rula.com/F68. That's RULA.com/F68 and take control of your mental health.
All right, let's move on. So this past week, football's been over here for a little bit, Super Bowl. So everybody kind of flips their attention, first to the NBA All-Star game. And then now it's kind of the doldrums of the NBA, right? Coming out of the All-Star game. So everybody starts to get excited. March is coming up. Everybody starts to pay attention to college basketball. All the, the general sports talking heads. And they finally caught wind of the Darryn Peterson situation. It took them long enough, but they finally caught wind of it. And, I have a hard time with this because, you got people like Stephen A. Smith who have probably watched like 5 minutes, Kendrick Perkins. They haven't watched Darryn Peterson all year. They have no idea who he is until now, other than the fact that he's, top of the draft boards. That's it. And he comes out swinging, killing Darryn Peterson, not knowing what the hell he's talking about. Because none of us know everything, and he knows nothing. And a lot of these guys that are talking know nothing, Matt. And again, I think I know more than 95% of the people what's going on. And there's some stuff I can say and some I can't. But let me say this. Let me start with this. And I'm trying to make this a point now. Is Darryn Peterson the kid? Can I start with that? Because I know him not great, but like well enough. I've had multiple conversations, interviews, been around him, you name it. He's a really good kid. He's a really good kid. I've talked to his former coach, Ryan Bernardi, at Prolific Prep at length about him. I've talked to Bill Self and the staff about him. He is a good kid. Bernardi said like they had zero issues with him. Always on time. I talked to his former trainer as well. Same thing. Always on time. Obviously there's something going on here and has been with his health, right? It was the hamstring earlier this year. Nobody was making it up. There's no load management. There's no minutes restriction based on NIL like Stephen A. Smith is trying to put out there, which is absolute bullshit that you would even say that without having any sort of knowledge on the situation. Like, come on, dude, don't even throw it out there. Don't even throw it out there because it's bullshit. If he wanted to shut this thing down and protect his stock, he would have done it a month, 6 weeks ago, Matt. He would have never come back from Vegas. He was already the number one pick going into the year. He played well early in the season. He's played well since coming back from the hammy. He would have shut it down. He obviously is competitive enough to want to play. My take on this situation, again, trying to figure this thing out here, is the injury happened. Then, obviously, another injury related to the hamstring, right? Whatever it was, the cramps, this, that, and the other, hasn't been able to get it under control medically, right? And I think there was some sort of episode before the season, okay, which affected him mentally here with cramping up. Like that was way worse than what we've seen, okay? And it's affected him here where he emotionally has not been able to figure this thing out, Matt, and handle it. And now, he taps out a lot of times, most of the time when he feels it, probably because his father has told him to tap out. And part of it now is because, I think he freaks out a little bit. I think he freaks out a little bit like, hey, I'm going to have a major episode here of full body cramps. And I'm fearful of this. You could say what you want about him. You say what you want. Hey, tough it out, man. And Bill Self said it a week ago. Bill Self basically said, hey, the only way to handle this thing and get the naysayers off your back is to go play through it. And I thought, Bill, there was a little bit of frustration. That was like the hardest I thought he came out. So there's my soliloquy about Darryn Peterson. But again, really good kid, really competitive before this year. And I don't think it's a lack of competitiveness. I just think up here, he can't figure this thing out. He can't handle it.
I've been very critical of the situation. I'm not going to lie. And one of the reasons was just like when he pulled himself out because he was sick. Like in February, nobody feels good. Everybody's sick. You're sharing a locker room. You're sharing hotel rooms. You're sharing buses. You're sharing charter flights. The germs are just everywhere. You're sharing tight huddles. Like everybody's sick. Nobody feels good. Yep. So that was the one where it's like, what's going on? Yeah. Like the cramping.
Bad timing.
Yes,
right.
Bad timing.
No doubt. I agree.
Bad timing. And, because, and I've walked past him in a hallway. That is the only interaction I've ever had with Darryn Peterson.
Yeah.
And I trust Norm Roberts, who was there to help recruit him.
Yep.
Norm's one of the best guys ever in college basketball in terms of a human being. And he said nothing but positive things about him. So I really trust Norm. But because he's such a good kid, that's why I think it could still work. Because if he wasn't, culturally, this is a disaster.
Agreed. And he said he's a loner.
Melvin County Jr. is like looking over there and saying, Coach, what are we doing? How am I going to trust this guy when we play on Thursday in the NCAA tournament and Saturday to go to the Sweet 16? Is he playing? How does he have my back? Like, but if he's that high character,
yeah,
those guys are probably like, man, we got his back. Don't block out all these media people and man, just go out there and hoop.
I think they're frustrated. I think they're frustrated, obviously. How can they not be as teammates? But I think and he's admittedly said he's a loner, right? He's a loner. He's not, and he doesn't show a lot of emotion, which hurts the situation even more because he's sitting on the bench, stone-faced, instead of what you would expect of somebody to be pissed off. You want to see him frustrated, and you don't see any emotion in his face. You don't see him on a bike or anything like that. So that's part of I think the fans' frustration with him.
Yeah, and he doesn't talk.
Right. No.
Like,
that's where the dad, I've said this, Matt. I was supposed to talk to him Friday night before the Iowa State game in Ames. I was supposed to. It was all set up. Kansas was good with it, everything. And it was pulled at the end by his father. And my take is, I don't care for me, Matt. It doesn't matter. Like, trust me. I don't care for me. What he needs to do is tell his story to somebody, anybody. Go out and tell it to Jay Will. Tell it to Stephen A. I don't care. Go on with somebody and tell your story so that you can answer some of the different. You may not answer everything, but at least people can see your face and know who you are and feel for you a little bit, because right now it's like it's a robot to most people. It's a robot. Nobody feels anything for Darryn Peterson because we've never really heard him speak, or people haven't.
Yeah. I mean, and I was doing a show yesterday on Sirius XM with Chris Budden, who covers the Big 12.
Yeah.
You know, that was her point. Like, just come, like, sit him down in a room with his dad,
Chris Budden. Chris Budden would be great. She'd be great to sit down.
I'm saying before the interview happens.
Yeah.
This is the message we're trying to get out.
Whatever.
That's it.
You can prep them. If you really have something to hide, which I don't think they have that much to hide. I think there's one thing in particular that they're not going to want to talk about. But for the most part, I don't think there's a whole lot to hide here. Hamstring injury, cramps, I've been unable to get it under control. Yes, it's affecting me. What's this season been like for you? Talk about the frustration of that. Hey, I could have shut it down. You know, people around me wanted me to shut it down. I didn't want to. And that's why I'm still out here playing.
Now, it's crazy because I'm watching the end of the Arkansas game last night, versus Texas A&M. And what he said.
Yeah. He was like,
and that's just like that. I don't.
My team.
I don't think he's trying to take a shot.
No, AJ said the same thing. Everything that these freshmen say now appears to be a shot at Peterson. I know. I don't think it is.
And I don't think it is either.
Yeah, I know.
But A-Cuff said, I want to be out there with my teammates. Because he's playing hurt. He's in a boot.
Part of it, too, is remember, Peterson didn't play for USA basketball either. I think his dad pulled him from that. So these kids don't know Darryn. He was on the Adidas circuit. Obviously, we know AJ was on the Nike circuit. A-Cuff was on most of them were on the Nike circuit. So a lot of these kids, like, they don't have probably a huge relationship with Darryn Peterson. All right, let me forward to another aspect of this, which is the big one that everybody's talking about, obviously, with the NBA guys is, you know, does he still go number one? And I talked to two NBA GMs yesterday, Matt. They both told me, yeah, there's more concern now than ever. But one said, hey, still got 3 regular season games, still probably got a couple Big 12 tournament games, still probably got a couple NCAA tournament games. So that's 7. Let's call it 7 games. That's a month's worth of work in college basketball. Let's see how this thing plays out. Now, what I will say is he hasn't looked like himself over the last couple of weeks. At Iowa State, he couldn't get by anybody. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a combination of physically, but I think a lot of it is emotionally him worried about letting loose. because that kid has juice, man. We've seen it. He's got pop, and we don't see it very often now. Bill Self sticks him in the corner. He is literally the two guard now. If you remember at the beginning of the season, ball was in his hands all the time. He was the point guard, he was the two guard, he was the everything guard. Now it's Melvin Council's your point, which I get. If I'm Bill Self, I'm doing the same thing because you don't know game to game. So he goes over there in the corner, and he still can put up 17 while having very little juice. Like he's that good. He's that talented. Would you still take him number one if you're an NBA GM, or are there too many? See, they're going to do their research before you answer that. They're going to do their due diligence. Obviously, the doctors are going to do the medical, and then there's going to be other doctors who do the psychological, and then there's going to be all these other people that are talking to everybody around the kid. They're going to go to Kansas. They're going to talk to everybody on staff. They're going to talk to the janitor. They're going to talk to his dad. They're going to talk to his mom. They're going to talk to his AU coach. They're going to talk to everybody and figure out what makes this kid tick and what happened. What happened? What really happened this past year? So we don't have all the info, but how close do you think it is now between he and AJ dybantsa? And you might even want to put, I wouldn't put Cam Boozer in that mix, but you may.
Yeah, today, no, I'm not taking him one.
Okay.
To your point, let's see what happens and transpires over the next 4 weeks. And all of a sudden, if this Kansas team gets to a Sweet 16, Elite Eight, and he plays in every single game, I may change my opinion because of how talented he is and because of the character piece. Today, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I'm taking Caleb Wilson over him. I'm taking Caleb Wilson over him.
Wow.
I just can't. We've seen so many guys that have battled injuries in college, and it seems like it follows them.
Yeah.
It follows them to the NBA. And these franchises invest so much money. I mean, and the whole tanking, which I can't stand. I mean, how can you just like go tank and try to lose games? It drives me insane.
You have to.
I get it. I understand it. But you're going to tank and feel like you're going to get a Cooper Flag or, someone that is a franchise-changing player. It's just the injuries they follow these guys, and to me, this is.
But if you miss, and he turns out to be a top 10 player in the NBA, which as good as this draft is good. I don't know if you can go through any of these other names and say, all right, I feel good about AJ being a top 10 player in the NBA, or Kingston Flemings, or Acuff, or Mikel Brown, or Caleb, or Nate Amen, or Cam Boozer, and this. Again, I've keeping Wagler's another one. Those are your top 8. I don't think I missed anybody out of that group. I mean, it's loaded. It's the best top 8 I have seen since I've been.
Respect of Caleb Wilson.
What's that?
Forgetting him.
No, well, you said him. You already mentioned him.
Right.
So I didn't even bother. He's obviously in the equation of the top 3 or 4. But those 8, man, it's incredible how good this draft is going in. It is incredible in the top 8. You could
possibly say Amit's got the most upside. The guy's got a baby face. I don't even think he's shaved.
And then you got like who we haven't mentioned, Braden Burries or Braylon Mullins, and I mean it's friggin' loaded. It's loaded. So I would say this to me, gun to my head again, armed with all the information. If I feel good about, hey, all right, medically, I'm not worried about it, right? I'm not worried about something with his leg. I'm just going to, and the psychological part, I had an NBA GM told me yesterday. He's like, we would get our people with him. Like that wouldn't worry us that much. I think, that's a part we could figure out. That it's more again, and the dad part, most of the time, let's face it, the high maintenance dads, when the kids get to the NBA, they're out of the equation for the most part, right? Like,
yeah, they have to be. That's exactly the thing with these. And it's funny because I know Jordan Cornette grew up with his dad in Cincinnati. They were like rivals playing against each other.
What, he played Akron or something? Where did he play?
So like I don't think he's one of those quote unquote helicopter parents, but these parents that are,
No,
and
I think maybe not helicopter, but maybe
but I'm saying these
some
parents
sort of
are
a
trying
jet,
to being
maybe a
so
jet parent.
involved and telling coaches that
Yeah.
my son's only going to work out with this coach or this
Yeah.
guy or that, and don't do it. Like you can't do that when you
Right.
get to the NBA.
No.
Sam Presti is not like sitting down and talking to you about
Or
who's
Brad
to work
Stevens
out
or
your
any
son.
of them. Right. None of them.
What's
None of them.
happening?
No. So I think that's where I'm saying, like, a lot of these NBA guys aren't as concerned. They're just looking at the talent. And man, is he talented. Like, if you're just going on talent, he's number
If he
one.
changes the narrative and they go on a run,
Yeah, I would agree.
it's a no-brainer.
All right, let's go through. We got a few more minutes here. Let's go through our top 5 teams in order right now, in order of confidence. Your confidence meter in your top 5 today, and I'm going to stick with the Michigan Wolverines. I just think, again, I know they lost to Duke, but I still have confidence in this team and Dusty May and this group and how they're put together, and that they can kind of win a game offensively, outscoring you defensively. I'm going Michigan 1. You still got your Gators at 1? Where are we at?
I'm not going Gators at 1, although I am trending in that direction, especially with Lee and the way that he's playing. I mean, coming down the stretch of the game against Texas, would they close that game on a 23-3 run? Something just like absolutely insane.
Yep.
And
Boogie was good. Boogie was
great.
Yeah.
Boogie was great.
They won a road game with Thomas Houck not playing well.
Yeah. Sprained his ankle, got dinged up a little bit, got into some foul trouble.
Yep.
I'm anxious to see
who you got at 1. Who you got at 1?
I'm gonna go Duke just because of the win over Michigan. That what a game, what a battle. I love the clip of Isaiah Evans, I believe, up at the whiteboard at the half. Like, that's culture, man. Like, those guys are connected. The coaching staff's not even in there. Like, come on.
Does that happen, Matt?
I wish it happened more for me. I wish. I wish. I'd have to go in there. I'd be sweating at the half, all the writing.
They'll be coaching right now if that were happening.
But that's exactly what should happen. You give your team, the first 5 minutes of half to talk amongst each other. And that's what was going on. Hey, guys, I mean, that was awesome.
Awesome. For those who haven't seen that, go to Duke's men's basketball Twitter page. They posted a video of basically halftime before Shire got in for that win. And all the players. Isaiah Evans took the Bulls by the horn there. But there were other players who jumped in as well. It was really impressive. I have Duke at 2, Matt. Again, any team, I picked them to win it all preseason because of one Cameron Boozer, and he hasn't disappointed. He's exceeded. Honestly, he's exceeded. I think I said before the year, I thought he would average 18 and 10 this year. I think you just put him down for a double-double every single night.
What I don't understand, like, is it, if it wasn't for Peterson and dybantsa being in this draft, he would be number 1? Or is there something NBA GMs are concerned about?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's his ability to score over length. It's his lack of athleticism. It's the
over length. Watch the Michigan game. Everybody's long.
I know. I'm just telling you what the NBA guys are telling me. And again, they don't see him necessarily as a franchise type player. They see him as a great number 2 guy. And it's hard because you can't give him the ball too. Now this shouldn't matter because obviously, like Tim Duncan, like you could say there are some comparisons a little bit to like Duncan in kind of Duncan wasn't a sexy player either, right? Now Tim could score in the post over anybody. Boozer again will have a little bit of issues because he doesn't have a ton of lift going up against length and athleticism every single night in the league. But he's learned to adapt. I mean, look at him. He could step out, make threes.
Every game.
He's a great passer. I know.
Big teams, small teams.
Yes. Everybody.
It's every single game.
Everybody. Yes, no doubt.
I got Michigan too. I got Michigan too.
Who do you got 3?
I said it before the game.
Yeah.
Neither one of these teams should be punished, whoever loses. They're both 1 seeds.
Agreed. No, I think Duke, I mean, again, Duke elevated themselves where they weren't even. It's been Michigan, Arizona all year for us.
Yeah.
Like all year, it's been a 2-horse race in that top tier. You keep looking over like housekeeping is coming in. Is housekeeping coming in?
Been here in 4 days. I'm like, are they gonna come in? Like, are they gonna come in?
I mean, do you do that? If you're there 4 days, do you have housekeeping come in?
Yes, fresh towels, get the
every
bed
day.
made.
Every day.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like to be bothered. I'll just go down and get the towels.
Room when you get
I'll get
home
the
after a
towels.
late night.
Yeah, I'll go down and get the towels.
But let's get back on task. Arizona 3. It's been those 3.
Yeah,
it's got to continue.
Arizona 3. I got UConn 3 over Arizona. I got UConn 3, Arizona 4. I just again, I know people are going to be like, you hate your alma mater, this, that, and the other. They're awesome. I just think UConn's upside is a little bit higher, and I still worry about like the tightness when you get in the Elite Eight game, and if you're Tommy Lloyd and you haven't been there before, where as opposed to that, you know what Hurley's going to be doing. You get in an Elite Eight game, he's sticking his chest out. He's like, we got this. I've won 2 titles. I know exactly what I'm doing. Like, there'll be no tightness with Dan Hurley. I think there might be some with that Arizona group. I also want to see, like, Koa Pete. I know, like, it's not a major injury, but, like, he just missed a lot of time, practice time. And you know how that is this time of year, how that could affect you coming back. They need him desperately. We're seeing it now, like Krivas and Awaka are in foul trouble every single game right now without Koa Pete in there.
Yeah. The 4th and 5th spot, this is where it gets difficult for me because I am so impressed by the Florida Gators.
Yeah, I know you are.
Like every single time they go on the road, it's like, okay, is this a little bit of a trap game? Texas had won 5 out of 6. You know, they're going to Georgia. You got Kentucky on Saturday. You know, you're going to Texas A&M. They're beating all these teams by 20.
Yes.
By 20. I mean, there was a clip last night where Chinleyu gets a block, and they're coming down. Hauk's on the bench, who I think should be SEC Player of the Year. And Condon goes into like a fake dribble handoff and turns and like finger rolls it in. It was just like, if you're Sean Miller, it's like, what do you do? Like, are you kidding me?
Not much you can do.
I'm very anxious to see how do they handle Acuff on Saturday. Like bigger physical guard. Is Boogie going to guard him? Yeah. I would think Flan guards him. You know, how do they handle him? Because it's like it's neck and neck for me with UConn and Florida in the next spot. And UConn beats them in Madison Square Garden on 1 possession. But the Gators are playing so much better right now.
Yeah.
Jeff, they're beating everybody by 20. Everybody in the league. I'm going to go Florida, and then I'll go UConn.
So I'm going to go, again, my 4 is Arizona. My 5 is Florida. I think we have a top 5 that I don't want to say is clear because, again, like you got some really good teams that are right on the periphery there, right? Iowa State, who are we forgetting? Iowa State, Houston. Houston's fallen off a little bit lately, though. They have, in terms of our trust factor, our trust meter. But
well, I'm going to give you another one, and I want to know where you stand on them because they got a big one tonight.
Okay.
Purdue.
Yeah, they're just not even in the equation for me of winning a national title. All those other teams I think can win 4. I just don't see a scenario where Purdue can win 4. And I hate saying that about Braden Smith, any team with Matt Painter coaching and Braden Smith is your point guard. But I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I don't think the pieces fit that well on this group. We've kind of talked about them before. So, all right, well, listen. Appreciate everybody tapping in here. Goodman, no Hummel, and McCall. Well, he was on. I mean, let's give him credit. Like, he did it. Yeah, he stepped up a little bit and earned his paycheck for once. And it was a tough week for him. I mean, it's a tough stretch right now for Robbie Hummel. We all feel for him. He's got to work hard. He's got to grind it out. But you know what the good thing is for Robbie Hummel? He'll be golfing soon, baby. He'll be golfing soon. So we'll see you next week. Hummel should be back. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for watching, listening. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next week.